Grenade.
Judge Dredd is quite a cultural icon who has appeared in various comics, spin-offs, and live-action adaptations, and he is known as a dedicated cop who goes to extreme ends to fight crime. He was first introduced in a British sci-fi comic titled 2000 AD in 1977 and soon became one of the most iconic comic book heroes of all time. He was cloned in a future world where anyone who chose to be a judge had to give up everything to quite literally become the law. Nobody embodied this character quite as well as Judge Dredd. He even had some unique anatomical features that set him apart from other judges, and today we will be exploring his physiology and tell you everything about him. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. So thank you, and let's begin. Who is Judge Dredd? Exploring his physical form. Judge Dredd was a character in the sci-fi anthology comics known as 2000 AD and is notably the most famous character in some of these stories. Judge Dredd was one of the street judges who acted as a judge and a police officer in Mega City 1. Mega City 1 was formed to counter overcrowding in North America after the world was affected by atomic wars, and there was a lot of chaos, confusion, and surges in crime rates due to all the destruction caused by these wars. After facing various crises, people migrated to Mega City 1, and the judges essentially served as the city's justice department that ensured that the people stayed in line. Millions of people had migrated here, and the crime rates were increasing at an alarming rate due to the overcrowding while people struggled to find employment. Judge Joseph Dredd was one of the most famous judges working for the city, and he was a harsh judge who arrested people even for the smallest of crimes. He wore a blue and red helmet and a blue and golden judge's outfit, and he hardly ever took his helmet off. Judge Dredd wore green boots, knee pads, elbow pads, and gloves along with his blue bodysuit. Judge Dredd was essentially a clone of the Father of Justice, aka Eustace Fargo, who was one of the most respected judges of all time. Judge Dredd was a senior street judge, and he had the authority to act as the judge, juror, and executioner. He also had a special gun that only worked in his hands, and it was even DNA coded to explode if anyone tried to use it. Judge Dredd allegedly slept hardly 10 minutes a day, and he never even had time to get out of his judge's clothes. He was always there to defuse a troubling situation, and one could rely on him always in tough times. Judge Dredd was even offered the position of chief judge, but he turned it down as he preferred to remain a street judge. He was so dedicated to his work that the American band Anthrax even dedicated a song named "I Am the Law" to Judge Dredd.
Kevlar 9 helmet and body armor. Yours?
How the judges were made in 2000 AD. The judges in 2000 AD had the power to act as a judge, juror, and executioner, and were essentially Mega City 1's most formidable law enforcers. While Judge Dredd was a street judge, there were some other judges, such as the riot judges and the chief judges. A council of 5 and a chief judge led all the other judges, and they even had different divisions to aid and monitor their actions. This judge system later spread to other countries, but these judges did not have to follow the same set of strict rules as the judges in Mega City 1. Before becoming street judges, the recruits had to undergo intense training at the Academy of Law for 15 years. The cadets were cloned infants, such as Judge Dredd, or sometimes they even recruited young 5-year-old kids. After joining the academy, the cadets were not allowed to have any contact with the outside world. They were only allowed to leave the academy as well as the city during a training mission known as the Hot Dog Run, wherein they had to venture out into the wastelands beyond the city, known as the Cursed Earth. A senior judge assessed their performance during the Hot Dog Run, wherein they had to deal with unforeseen combat situations. After graduating from the academy, the cadets became rookie judges and wore white helmets and badges with half eagles during this training period. They had to undergo another strict assessment by senior judges to become a proper judge, and only a select few rookie judges managed to clear this assessment. After passing, they were given a black and red helmet and a badge with a full eagle on it, which consolidated their status as a judge. Any rookies who failed the assessments were not allowed to appeal, and they sought employment elsewhere or left the Justice Department. After serving for the department, the street judges retired after a few years, and they had the option of either taking an admin or teaching post or the long walk. The long walk essentially meant that they had to venture out into the cursed earth or the radioactive world outside the city and were not allowed to return to Mega City 1. They had to die while bringing the law to the lawless world outside the city, and they even walked through an honor guard made up of other judges who formally bade them farewell. Judge Dredd had finally taken the long walk in 2112 after beginning to doubt the ethics of the Justice Department. Do judges get physical augmentations? Usually the judges age with time, but writer Michael Carroll and artist Ben Wilshire once released a comic issue titled Carousel, wherein Judge Dredd had to undergo physical enhancements to stop aging. In this storyline, Judge Dredd underwent a rejuvenation treatment as the creators wanted to explore possibilities wherein he does not age quickly and stays around for a long time. Creator John Wagner expressed his desire to explore the story in an interview with Empire. He had even exclaimed that he would love to write this story and ensure that the Judge Dredd story arc comes to a good end.
Boy, am I glad to see you.
Mega City Code 7592. Willful sabotage of a public drawer.
What's the whole deal about Judge Dredd not revealing his face? Judge Dredd's face has always been hidden behind a helmet because the comic creator, John Wagner, wanted to depict the facelessness of justice. However, Dredd's face was once revealed in one of the comic panels, and his face was so disfigured that someone even told him that he should not be allowed to live with a face like that. His face was revealed to be so horrific that it even scared the criminals away. In another story arc titled Dead Man, the main lead had a burned face and was later revealed that this was also Judge Dredd. While they fixed his face later, Dredd kept a helmet on for almost the entire comic series. He could have done this because he did not want people to see his disfigured face, and this also coincided with Wagner's concept regarding the facelessness of justice. While Wagner felt that the audience did not need to see Dredd's face, Sylvester Stallone removed his helmet and revealed Dredd's face in the 1995 movie adaptation of the comics. Later, Carl Urban also portrayed this character in Dredd 3D in 2012, but Urban's portrayal did not remove his helmet at all during the film. He was also a huge fan of the comics and wished to stick with John Wagner's original concept, and Dredd's face was never revealed in this movie.
Thanks for the heads up.
Does Judge Dredd have a conscience? Judge Dredd's character was created with the intention of stirring a debate about ethical behavior, and he was essentially a parody character. He always behaved like the textbook example of someone who follows a strict ethical code, which sometimes causes the audience to question the belief system of the Force and even raises questions on what exactly is ethical. Judge Dredd believed firmly in the law and refused to let people get away with anything, and he was not liberal when it came to punishing people. When Judge Dredd caught somebody for an offense, he mostly punished them with death or a life sentence in prison. Sometimes these offenses were minor and did not require such drastic actions, and there was no way for the people to appeal against this punishment or get away with just a fine. In many instances, Dredd decided to execute people in the streets, which became an element reused for laughs throughout the comics. From an ethical point of view, this raises questions in the modern world and causes one to rethink Dredd's actions. Dredd was a headstrong character who followed the strict laws and ethics laid down by the Justice Department, and his personal beliefs never played a role in his decision-making processes. He also never resorted to corruption and upheld the law, and he even put himself in danger while doing so.
Sidearm with mission variable voice programmed ammunition. Signal flare.
Was Judge Dredd averse to romance? Can he reproduce? One of the other judges, Galen DeMarco, had once developed a crush on Dredd, who did not reciprocate her feelings. The judges were prohibited from engaging in romantic relationships, and Judge Dredd strictly obeyed this rule and steered clear of any romance. While Gallen's breach of rules eventually led to her resignation, she approached Dredd even after stepping down as a judge. However, Judge Dredd stayed firm and ensured he did not indulge in relationships. None of the judges were allowed to marry, reproduce, or engage in any form of intimate relations. They had also received abstinence training, but a few judges still disregarded this rule and even had children. In one storyline, Judge Dredd had even become friends with another judge who was actually the son of Judge Giant. While some of the judges did reproduce, Judge Dredd did not have any kids because he stuck to the rules and ensured that he did not do anything unlawful. Besides, not all judges could get away with having kids. In another storyline, 2 judges were having a relationship that eventually resulted in a pregnancy, and the judge was then terminated from her job.
Let's move it.
Exploring the weapons and equipment used by Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd was famously known for using a handgun known as the Lawgiver, and it was a DNA-coated weapon that could only work in his hands. This weapon exploded if anyone else tried handling it, as it could scan handprints and ensure that only Dredd was using it. Every judge got assigned with ammo in 6 different types of bullets, such as rubber ricochet, armor piercing, high X, heat-seeking bullets, and so on. They could also use a tracking bullet and even stun people by shooting at them. Judge Dredd also carried a boot knife, a shotgun called Scattergun, and a 2-handed club known as the Day Stick. He traveled around this place on his motorbike known as the Lawmaster. This motorbike was equipped with cannons, lasers, and highly advanced AI. It could take orders from Judge Dredd and even drive itself to a location. The Lawmaster was connected to the Justice Department with the help of a video communication system that enabled them to stay in the loop even from a distance. Dredd's blue bodysuit also had protective lenses, a built-in communicator, and a respirator to ensure his safety.
Rapid fire. Incendiary.
Can Judge Dredd be killed? While Judge Dredd seems to age generally in the mainstream timeline, an alternate version explored the possibility of him dying and even being resurrected as a zombie. In this story version of 2120, Judge Dredd was killed in an unfortunate event and brought back to life. However, he was revived as a zombie and not a normal human being, and he even wreaked a lot of havoc after becoming a zombie. He was accidentally sent back in time to Luna 1, which was a colony on Earth's moon. Here, he had stirred up trouble as an undead zombie and even caused a rampage in the past.
No goodbye?
Goodbye, Hirsch.
Conclusion. Judge Dredd was definitely one of the most iconic comic book heroes out there, and he was an exemplary character with a fierce personality. He did everything in his power to fully utilize his power and authority, and it has always been a pleasure to see him included in any comics or live actions. And if you liked our content today, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already, and in the meantime, have a good one and be safe. Thank you, everybody.
Control. Perps just wiped out an innocent. I'm taking him down.